What's up everyone, Vu of Vu Films, your friendly neighborhood tube douche, back again with another idiotic video for you to watch. And today's video is idiotic because I'm about to review the Sony a7S III. And why is it idiotic that I'm reviewing the Sony a7S III? It's because I'm the biggest Sony fanboy douchebag on the planet. And of course, I'll be super biased about it. I'm going to tell you that it is the greatest Sony mirrorless, actually the greatest mirrorless camera that you could buy under $4,000 that does both video and photo. Yes, even eclipsing the Canon R5 and the Panasonic S1H. And there are several reasons for that I'll discuss at a later date. But this is my opinion on this camera. It is just amazing, okay? I could end the video there, tell you to go buy it if you can afford it, but I'm not. If you look at the specs, you look at the capabilities, the dynamic range, 4K 60, 4K 120, 4K 24, amazing 1080p footage, downscaled from 4K, 10-bit 422, multiple different codecs, great image stabilization in active mode, the best autofocus in pretty much the game, even better than Canon R5, Canon R6, Canon period, from what I've seen from other users, and just generally super usable, great flip out screen, great menus. There's nothing negative I could really say about it that can hold a candle. Me giving a legitimate review about this camera is equivalent to Peter McCannon and Armando Ferreira reviewing any Canon product. It'll be super biased. The only difference is I am not getting paid by Sony to say any of this stuff. Matter of fact, I am paying them to review this video. So, in any case, to make this a less biased video, I have for you a different reviewer. I have for you my current assistant that I hired, and I'm paying him to sponsor him to get a green card here. And of course, he's a former award-winning filmmaker as well as a former Canon ambassador, Phuc Mai Bich. So without further ado, Phuc Mai, come here.
No, I don't want it. I don't want to.
Come on, dude, you have to come over here now.
You don't give me the green card yet. You don't give me the green card yet.
You want your green card or not? Do you want to go back to Vietnam and go on those rice paddies, or
Okay,
do
fine,
you want to come here now?
Coming, okay, fine.
And
okay, I come.
sit here and do this video?
I'm coming.
Do you want your green card?
I coming.
Then get over here. Come on now, hurry up. You're over there walking like you're Panasonic autofocus or something, taking your time. You're walking over here like you're counting Nevada ballots. Come on. Hi, my name Phuc Mai Bich. Today I do did review video for the Sony a7S III. Because Mr. Vũ he want me to give you a better opinion on the camera. And if I tell you the truth, this camera is a trap. Okay. You can get a much better camera from Canon, from Blackmagic, from Panasonic, much better than this camera. Okay. Canon have the 8K, it have the 4K, downsample 8K. It get a little bit hot, but it's okay. You know, if you burn your hand, you go hot, bro. You got the health insurance, you live in America, you have the health insurance, you go there, you get your hand cured. So it okay. And then the Panasonic 818, it's much better. It do the I don't know. We'll talk about the Panasonic later, okay? It had 4K 62, and it focused okay. If you don't move anywhere, if you stand there, do nothing, it focused okay. And the Blackmagic, it looked a lot better. It looked more cinematic. It looked more like a movie, right? It did very nice, and it much better than this track. Did no good. Did camera no good. The ergonomic, it okay. It could be bigger than that one. You know, I used to holding small thing, but you know, did okay. Canon much better ergonomic. The Fuji Active 4 much cheaper. You get the cheaper camera. It have a good color science. The color science of the Sony it track. It's not as good at the Canon. It's not as good at the Fuji. Black Magic is much better with the skin tone. It is much better than that. What else? What else do I say? The LCD, it below average. It's not that clear. Did one eye, but who put the eye in there? No one put the eye in there. Maybe some Asian guy with a little eye. He put the eye in there, but not me. Not me. I have big eye. Okay, I different. Okay, I have some. I have some Caucasian in me, so my eye bigger. See, it's okay, but only a little Asian eye go in here. The I don't know. It okay. It with the Vu, he a track fanboy. He'll tell you did the best camera, but I think it no good. I much rather buy the Canon R5, Canon R6, cheaper, $2,500. I do that, and that one you no one want to buy that one. Okay, don't buy that one. It's too expensive. $3,500. You could get a full cinema camera. You get the Canon C70 at only almost $6,000. I mean, it's more than that, but it's a cinema camera at Canon. Have good color science, and it Canon is the best. You want to get a good camera, you buy the Canon. You don't buy that one, okay? And don't watch this channel. This channel is trash. You want to watch Peter McCannon. You want to watch Potato Jet. You want to watch Armando. You want to watch him. You don't want to watch this guy, Mr. Wu. You don't know what he talk about. And yeah, this is real trash.
All right, dude, that's enough. That is enough
Why I
of
suck now?
whatever it is you're talking
Why?
with your
Why you want me
alternative
to
facts.
just
It's enough
stop?
alternative facts. That's enough for your fake news.
You
Alternative facts.
you
Get up.
you promised me green card. You not give me the green card yet. You want me to do that? You want me to do that? You want me to do all the thing, and you don't give me the green card
How
yet?
about this? How about this? I'll buy you some new flip flops. Your flip flops are like one size too small. Your pinky's hanging out of the side. I'll buy you a new flip flop.
Okay, okay, I do. Okay, okay, okay. You give me a new flip flop tomorrow. You buy me new flip flop tomorrow. Okay, okay. Can you? What are you doing? All right, I got this. I got the flip out screen from the Sony a7SIII. I don't need your help anymore. Why don't you just go upstairs? It's almost dinner time. Just go upstairs and cook some rice. All right. Hey, don't use the pot. Don't use a stove. It takes too long. Use your Canon R5. It gets hot a lot faster. Just turn on 8K, put the rice pot on there, and you're good to go. All right, thanks. So clearly, Mr. Phuc Mai Bich, he has a very interesting opinion about this camera, but some of those things he said can be true. Maybe let me recall what he said. He said the Canon R5 R6 is better. The Canon R6 is not better. There's some issues with color science, with that camera. Even though I think color science is purely subjective, but the reason it's kind of weird why the Canon R6 color science versus Canon R5's color science is kind of different. This information I'm getting from Camera Conspiracies, the most accurate, the best, the most definitive resource you could find on YouTube regarding cameras, which is Cameras Conspiracies. And he reviewed R6 versus R5, and the R6 color science is completely different. Matter of fact, Potato Jet, he's a notch below Camera Conspiracies in terms of credibility, but he even said the R6 color science is weird. So there's that. Canon R5, like I mentioned, that thing overheats. So you're trying to shoot 8K, you're trying to shoot 4K, high quality. That thing's gonna overheat on you. So if you're gonna try to use it on like a professional shoot, you're not gonna be able to trust it enough to shoot long duration unless you sit there and baby it. And I'm not out here trying to baby my camera. If you want to just abuse a camera that does not overheat, 4K 60, 4K 120, right here for you. He also mentioned the Panasonic S1H has 4K 60 as well. Autofocus is pretty much unusable. Let's just be real. So if you're a one run and gun shooter, if you're shooting a lot of things on your own, even if you're shooting on a team, you could actually not even need a focus puller. You could just rely on this autofocus, which is the best in the game. Secondly, the S1H 4K 60 is cropped. 4K 60 is 1.5 times cropped. This 4K 60 422 10-bit is not cropped at all. Matter of fact, the only thing that is cropped is when you do 120 frames per second, it is cropped 1.1 times. Not even the 1.5 1.6 times whatever the Panasonic S1H crops in. He also mentioned the Fuji X-T4, great camera. I used to own one. The ergonomics is horrible in that camera. In my opinion, you need to buy a cage just to hold it nicely in your hand. Other thing is, this thing, again, has 4K 60 full frame, 120 frames a second, full frame 1.1 crop versus the Fuji X-T4, which is 4K 60, and it crops in even 1.2 times more on top of the 1.5 times APS-C crop that it is. Also, it's only 4K 10-bit 420. 422 is not available for 4K 60, and there's obviously no 4K 120. And again, if you want to shoot 1080, this is probably the best 1080p camera because this is actually downsampled from 4K footage instead of like pixel bend or whatever it is they have to do to get it down to 1080. This is the sharpest, the cleanest 1080 you can get. Okay. Another complaint people probably have is like, well, Sony's data rates are so small, 100 megabits per second for like 4K 24, which I'm filming now, 10-bit 422, while Canon and other ones have larger or bigger data rates, which I will point out to you means nothing because there's something called compression. Simple example. 4K. This is 4K 24, 10-bit 422. It will completely trash Canon's 1080 8-bit at 90 megabits per second. This is 100 megabits per second, and this footage will completely destroy whatever the Canon comes out with only 10 megabits per second less than this. Okay, so there are more things to consider in terms of image quality than just data rates alone. That being said, I'm going to tell you this again. It's probably not fair of me to trash Canon because I've never used it myself, but the fact of the matter is, if I can't rely on it to be able to shoot past 30 minutes recording without having to bother with it, that's a problem. Not just overheating issue, but also is limited internally for some reason at 30 minutes. Another person may argue, well, this is not a good photography camera because it's only 12 megapixels. I've discussed that in a completely different video already, but for the majority of people who does photography on the internet anyway, 12 megapixels is enough for 24-inch prints or so. And obviously, if you're posting on online, Instagram, and all that stuff, this is more than enough to be posting pictures for websites and all that stuff. So if you are primarily a videographer and you want the best video quality, but you also want to shoot stills from time to time, this is the best camera for you. There's no question about it. You can sit there and argue color science and all that stuff, but that's purely subjective, right? As long as you have 10-bit 422, as long as you shoot in log, you do whatever with the colors you want. Color science is almost equivalent to me as eating a bowl of pho with a fork or a chopstick. You use a fork, you're eating the same thing. You use a chopstick, the same thing. However, the chopsticks for me just taste better for some reason. It's just my personal opinion. Eating hot noodles with chopsticks is better. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm Asian. Probably is. But it just tastes a lot better. But the fact of the matter is, I'm just taking the same stuff. It's just subjective. It's just how I feel about it. And the same thing goes with color science. But I want to go ahead and tell you that if you are relying on your camera system, you're relying on just built-in color, like shooting standard, maybe you need to up your game and start shooting in log to more hone in on your colors and develop your own taste, develop your own style versus relying on a camera to do your colors for you. Meanwhile, you could also stop relying on Craigslist to get your clients. Anyways, so that is my review. That is my definitive review of the Sony a7S III. And I'm going to also try to be completely honest with you. If you have already bought an R5, R6 Canon, no, don't go sell it. And if you already bought an R5, R6, you already own a bunch of Canon gear, you own a bunch of Canon glass, you can stick with the Canon. There's no big deal. You just stick with the R5, R6. If you have a Fuji X-T4, and I'm going to assume you're not too invested because there's not much good glass, in my opinion, for video from the Fuji. I would strongly tell you to maybe see if there's a way for you to save up or wait a little bit and just get a Sony a7S III when you get the chance, because I shot with Fuji, the X-T4 for a few months, and it's a great camera, but there's just things in this camera, even for double the price, I believe just makes me not ever want to use the Fuji X-T4. Matter of fact, it is such a huge discrepancy to me that I decided not to even review it. I decided not to even do a comparison between the A7S III and the X-T4 before I sold the X-T4 off. I already sold it, so I can't even do like a real one-to-one comparison video. But I feel like I don't even want to. Me using that for a few months and using this for just a month on multiple different shoots, it's a no question kind of thing which camera is better, whether it be the body, the capabilities, but also the lens selection and all you get with the E-mount system for Sony. Panasonic S1H, like I said, you can't rely on the autofocus, and 4K 60 is cropped in. If you just want great image quality, you want full frame 4K 60, you want just better autofocus, and of course a better lens selection overall, native lens selection, then the Sony a7S III blows the S1H out of the water too. It's just, again, this is the Sony douchebag fanboy me speaking, but I'm telling you, this camera is amazing. Blackmagic is also great, but it's also cheaply built. You can't rely on it to shoot outside the desert, in the rain, in the snow. There's no weather sealing on it, and to even use it to its full capabilities, you have to really rig it out to use it. Again, no autofocus, so you're gonna have to rely on all manual focus. Again, you are using adapted lenses. This could shoot ProRes RAW. Obviously, Blackmagic could shoot RAW, and this is more expensive, etc., etc. We go on and on this, but I think if you are a shooter who at times you have to shoot alone and you just got to pull a camera out and just start firing away and get shots, this is the camera for you. A lot of people will say this is just like the best run and gun camera. No, I think this camera could do it all for you. Like, you have this camera, you could literally use it for pretty much everything and anything. You could shoot documentaries, you could shoot weddings, you could shoot corporate, you could shoot a movie. Whatever you want to do, you could do with this camera. And at the same time, all of a sudden you want to shoot some photos with it. This is a great photography camera too. And I realize I sound like a complete fanboy for the Sony a7S III, but under $4,000, you want a camera that could pretty much do it all for you. You want a camera that is just as good as it could be for cinematography, for under $4,000, for under $10,000 for that matter, and also could still do great photography. Small body, travel lightly, rig it up in a cage, ProRes RAW externally, whatever you want to do with this camera, it is all here. So with that being said, I cannot recommend this camera more for anybody who wants to be a good filmmaker as well as do some photography from time to time. So anyways, guys, hoped you enjoyed the video. Hope it helps you with the business decision. And till next time, don't forget to subscribe. Like.